Tom Walker stood at the main observation window of Deep Space Repair Station Delta, his coffee cup frozen halfway to his lips. The massive ship that had just dropped out of faster-than-light travel wasn't like anything he'd seen in his 15 years as station chief. It sparkled like a diamond in the starlight, its crystalline surface catching and reflecting the glow from the station's external lights. "Sir," his assistant's voice crackled through the comm system. "They're requesting emergency docking clearance. It's a crystalline Empire vessel." Tom nearly dropped his coffee. The Crystalline Empire was famous for three things: their advanced technology, their arrogance, and their complete refusal to let any other species touch their ships. Yet here one was, approaching his repair station. "Put them through," Tom said, straightening his uniform jacket. A holographic screen flickered to life in front of him. The alien commander appeared as a tall, angular being whose skin seemed to shimmer with the same crystalline quality as their ship. "This is Commander First Light Through Storm of the Imperial vessel Starseeker. We require—" There was a pause, and Tom could almost taste the alien's reluctance. "Assistance. Welcome to Station Delta, Commander. I'm Station Chief Tom Walker. What seems to be the problem?" "Our quantum drive has suffered severe damage. Our own repair protocols have failed." The commander's voice carried a mix of frustration and worry. "We've heard that humans have a unique approach to repairs." Tom kept his face neutral, though inside he was grinning. "We'll need to run some diagnostics first. I'm sending docking instructions now." The Starseeker's docking was a sight to behold. The crystalline ship, easily 3 times the size of the largest human vessel, carefully maneuvered into the station's largest bay. The maintenance crew gathered to watch, their faces showing a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Lead engineer Jack Miller joined Tom at the airlock, toolkit in hand. "Never thought I'd see the day," Jack whispered. "A crystalline ship asking us for help. The universe has a sense of humor." The airlock cycled, and 3 members of the Crystalline Empire emerged. They towered over the humans, their bodies refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. Commander First Light led them, followed by their chief engineer and a security officer. "This way to the quantum drive section," the alien engineer said, their voice tinged with what might have been embarrassment. As they walked through the ship's crystalline corridors, Jack's eyes widened. The technology around them was incredibly advanced, but something caught his experienced eye. "Chief," he muttered to Tom, "look at the power conduit layouts. They're beautiful, but what? They're too perfect, too rigid. No redundancy, no room for error." They reached the quantum drive chamber, and the problem became clear. The perfect crystalline structures had cracked under the stress of repeated faster-than-light jumps. The crystalline engineer explained their failed attempts at repairs, each word seemingly causing physical pain. Jack circled the drive, his weathered hands hovering over the damaged sections. He pulled out his diagnostic tablet, but also something else, an old-fashioned mechanical stethoscope. The crystalline crew stared at the ancient tool with obvious disdain. "What is that primitive device?" the alien engineer asked. Jack smiled. "Sometimes the old ways are the best ways. Your quantum drive isn't just damage, it's singing to us. Listen." He placed the stethoscope against the crystal housing and offered it to the alien engineer, who reluctantly accepted it. The vibrations, the alien engineer said, surprise evident in their voice. "They're harmonizing incorrectly." "Exactly," Jack said. "Your systems are too perfect. Space isn't perfect. You need flexibility, give and take. We humans learned it the hard way, back when we were first building steam engines. Sometimes a little imperfection makes things stronger." Tom watched the exchange with pride. This was what humans did best, finding simple solutions to complex problems, mixing old knowledge with new technology. The crystalline crew's initial skepticism was slowly being replaced by curiosity as Jack explained his proposed repair approach. Commander First Light turned to Tom. "If your engineer can repair our drive, it would challenged certain assumptions about human technological capabilities. Tom smiled. Commander, I think this is the beginning of a very interesting partnership. The repair station's day shift was ending, but Tom knew this was just the beginning. Something big was starting here. A change in how the galaxy viewed human engineering. As he watched Jack sketch out repair plans with the increasingly interested crystalline engineer, he couldn't help but wonder how many more alien ships would soon be finding their way to human repair stations. Little did he know, this was only the first ripple in what would become a wave of change across the galaxy. Jack Miller had been fixing things since he was old enough to hold a wrench. But as he stood before the damaged quantum drive of the Crystalline Empire's ship, even he had to whistle in appreciation. The technology was beautiful and terrifyingly complex. Your diagnostic systems show nothing wrong. The crystalline engineer, whose name translated roughly to clear mind in complexity, stated with frustration. Yet the drive fails during faster-than-light travel. Jack walked around the drive again, this time holding his tablet in one hand and gently tapping the crystalline surfaces with a rubber-tipped tool. The sound made Clear Mind flinch. "What are you doing?" the alien engineer demanded. "That is not a proper diagnostic technique." Jack smiled. "Actually, it is. One of the oldest. We used to do this with train wheels back on Earth, centuries ago. Different sounds mean different problems." He stopped at a particular section. "Hear that? It sounds hollow here, but solid there." Tom Walker watched from the doorway as Jack worked. He'd seen that look in his lead engineer's eyes before, the gleam of someone who'd just figured out a puzzle that everyone else had missed. "Your quantum drive is a marvel," Jack said, setting down his tools. "But it's also like a perfect crystal. And that's the problem. When stress hits one point, it travels through the whole system. You need—" He paused, searching for simple words. "Shock absorbers." Clear Mind's crystalline form shifted colors slightly. What Tom had learned was their version of confusion. "Shock absorbers? That is ancient technology. Sometimes the old ways work best," Jack said. He pulled up a diagram on his tablet and started sketching. "Look, your drive is built on perfect mathematical principles. But space isn't perfect. It's messy, full of unexpected waves and ripples. Your drive needs to bend a little or it will break." The human engineer's hands flew across the screen, drawing a series of modifications. "See these points? We add flexible mounting brackets here, here, and here. Not your crystal tech. Good old-fashioned memory metals and synthetic rubber compounds. When the drive hits turbulence, the energy disperses instead of cracking the crystal." Clear Mind studied the diagram, their crystalline form shifting through several colors. But that's so simple." "Simple doesn't mean wrong," Tom added from the doorway. "Humanity learned that lesson a long time ago. Sometimes the most elegant solution is also the most basic." Jack was already pulling parts from his toolkit. "The best part is, we can make these modifications without changing your core technology at all. It's like," he thought for a moment, "like putting a cushion under a precious vase. The vase stays perfect. It just doesn't break when the table shakes." Over the next few hours, Jack and his team worked alongside the crystalline engineers. They installed the shock-absorbing systems while carefully explaining each step. To everyone's surprise, the crystalline engineers began asking questions, not just about the repairs, but about human engineering principles in general. "Your approach is unusual," Clear Mind admitted as they finished the final installation. "You mix technologies without concern for their origin or age. You use computer models but also rely on physical senses. It's chaotic, but it works," Jack finished, closing his toolkit, ready to test it. The quantum drive hummed to life, its crystal structure glowing with energy. The monitoring systems showed perfect stability, better than the original specifications. Clear Mind's color shifted to what Tom recognized as amazement. "The efficiency has increased by 7%, the alien engineer announced. How is this possible with such primitive modifications? Jack shrugged. Sometimes you need to be a little primitive to be advanced. Think of it this way. Your technology is like a perfect mathematical equation. We just added some parentheses to help it handle real-world variables. Commander First Light entered the drive room, their crystalline form radiating authority. The repairs appear successful. This is unexpected. Perhaps we have been too quick to dismiss human engineering techniques. Tom smiled. Commander, would you be interested in hearing about our maintenance service packages? I have a feeling this won't be the last time we see a crystalline ship at our station. As if to prove his point, the quantum drive hummed smoothly, its crystal structure now working in perfect harmony with the human modifications, a symphony of advanced technology and practical engineering that would soon become famous across the galaxy. 3 weeks after the Crystalline Empire's Starseeker departed, Tom Walker stood in his office, staring at the stream of incoming repair requests flooding his screen. The successful repair of the crystalline ship had spread through the galaxy faster than a quantum wave. Another one just dropped out of light speed, his assistant reported through the comm. Well, you should see this yourselves, sir. Tom hurried to the observation deck. The sight made him stop in his tracks. A massive organic-looking vessel hung in space, its surface rippling like living tissue. It was a hive collective ship, another species known for their reluctance to trust lesser civilizations. They're requesting immediate docking clearance, the traffic controller announced. They say their biomechanical systems are failing. Get Jack up here, Tom ordered. Looks like we're about to make more history. Jack arrived just as the living ship was settling into the largest docking bay. Its surface pulsed with patches of sickly colors, clearly showing signs of distress. The hive engineers that emerged were insectoid beings, their compound eyes reflecting the station's lights. We heard of your success with the crystalline vessel. The lead hive engineer clicked through their translator. Our ship flesh is dying. Our methods cannot cure it. Jack approached the organic wall of the ship, his experienced eyes taking in the symptoms. May I? He asked, holding up his hand. The hive engineer nodded. The moment Jack touched the ship's surface, he felt the irregular vibrations. It's like a fever, he muttered. Tom, remember that cooling system we developed for the mining colonies on Venus? Tom's eyes lit up. The one that combines liquid cooling with electromagnetic pulse therapy. But this is living tissue, not machinery. Everything's machinery in some way, Jack said, already sketching on his tablet. Living or mechanical, it's all about systems working together. The hive ships are just squishier machines. The hive engineers watched in fascination as Jack explained his plan. They needed to adapt the Venus cooling system to work with organic technology. It was the kind of challenge that human engineers lived for, combining wildly different technologies to solve unique problems. As they worked, more ships arrived. A Machine Federation vessel, its AI brain suffering from logic loops. A cloud dweller ship that had lost containment of its atmospheric habitat. Each brought different problems, and each time, the human repair teams found solutions that the aliens had never considered. I don't understand. A Machine Federation AI said as Jack repaired its logic circuits with a combination of modern quantum computing and old-fashioned Boolean algebra. Your species is younger than ours. Your technology is less advanced, yet you solve problems we cannot. Jack looked up from his work, wiping grease from his hands. That's exactly why we can help. We remember what it's like to start from scratch. Every other species specialize. You focused on AI, the crystallines on quantum physics, the hive on biotechnology. But humans, we kept learning everything we could, old and new. Tom watched from his office as the repair bays filled with ships from across the galaxy. His repair station had become a symbol of human ingenuity. On his screen, a message flashed. The Galactic Council requesting an official meeting to discuss establishing more human repair stations. Sir, his assistant called. The Crystalline Empire ship that was here last month. They've sent a report to all their fleet captains recommending our station for repairs. They're calling us uniquely qualified problem solvers." Tom smiled. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not through superior technology or military might, but through their ability to fix things, to combine technologies in new ways, to see solutions where others saw only problems. As if to emphasize the point, another ship dropped out of light speed near the station. This one was different from any they'd seen before. A new species, coming to test the growing legend of human repair expertise. "Jack," Tom called over the comm, "looks like we've got another interesting day ahead of us." "Good," Jack replied, the smile evident in his voice. I was starting to get bored. Deep Space Repair Station Delta had become so busy that Tom Walker had to expand the repair base. Today, he watched as 3 different alien ships underwent repairs simultaneously. In Bay 1, Jack worked on a quantum engine. In Bay 2, another team repaired a living ship's nervous system. In Bay 3, engineers fixed a plasma drive using parts from an old combustion engine. "Fascinating," said the Galactic Council observer who stood beside Tom. The observer, a tall being made of swirling gas contained in a transparent suit, had been watching the repair teams for days. "Each species we interviewed says the same thing. Humans see connections that we miss." Tom nodded. "Want to know our secret?" The observer's gaseous form swirled with interest. "Please, follow me," Tom said, leading the way to a room he'd set up for teaching young engineers. Inside, a timeline covered one wall, showing humanity's technological progress from stone tools to quantum drives. "See this?" Tom pointed to the timeline. While other species focused on perfecting one type of technology, humans kept everything. We still teach our engineers about levers and pulleys alongside quantum mechanics, because sometimes the old simple solutions work better than new complex ones. In Bay 1, Jack was demonstrating this very principle. He had gathered engineers from 5 different species around a workbench where he'd laid out tools from different eras: a wrench, a quantum scanner, and what looked like a stone hammer. "Every tool teaches us something," Jack explained to his audience. "This wrench, it's about leverage, using a simple machine to multiply force. The quantum scanner shows us energy patterns. And this hammer," he picked up the stone tool, "it teaches us about direct solutions. Sometimes you just need to give something a good whack." The alien engineers laughed nervously, unsure if he was joking. "He's serious," Tom told the observer. "Last month, Jack fixed a million-year Empire ship's stuck quantum gate by hitting it with that hammer. Their engineers had spent weeks trying complex solutions." In Bay 2, a human engineer named Mike was showing a hive engineer how to adapt old Earth cooling systems for their living ships. "Think of it like giving medicine to a person," Mike explained. "Sometimes the body needs help to heal itself. We learned that with Earth's creatures long before we built spaceships." The observer's gaseous form twisted thoughtfully. "You're saying human expertise comes from keeping old knowledge?" "Partly," Tom said. "But it's more than that. Every human child starts by taking things apart to see how they work. We break things, fix them, improve them. We never lost that curiosity." As if on cue, a crash came from Bay 3, followed by cheering. A team had just successfully adapted a steam engine principle to improve a plasma drive's efficiency. The alien ship's captain looked both horrified and impressed. "See that?" Tom pointed. "Other species see technology as something to perfect. We see it as something to play with, to combine in new ways. It's messy, but it works." The observer recorded everything, its gaseous form shifting colors with excitement. "The Council will be very interested in this. We've been trying to understand why human repair stations are so successful." Jack joined them, wiping grease from his hands. "Tell them it's because we're not afraid to get our hands dirty," he said with a grin. "Every species we've met has amazing technology, but they're all specialists. Humans, we're universal mechanics." Tom smiled at the term. Universal mechanics. It fit perfectly. As he looked around the station, he saw the proof everywhere. Human engineers moving confidently between different technologies, mixing old and new, simple and complex, not bound by any one system or tradition. A new alert sounded. Another ship requesting emergency repairs. This one was from a species they'd never encountered before. "Well," Jack said, already heading toward the docking bay. "Time to learn something new. Maybe we'll teach them something too." The observer watched him go. "Remarkable. Your species turns every repair into a learning opportunity." "That's the real secret," Tom said. "We never stop learning, never stop trying new things. In space, that's the most valuable skill of all." The emergency alert blared through Deep Space Repair Station Delta at exactly 3:47 a.m. station time. Tom Walker, who had been catching a rare moment of sleep, was instantly awake and running to the control room. "Report," he called out as he entered. "Sir, it's the Galaxy Peace," his night shift controller said, face pale. "The diplomatic vessel carrying representatives from 12 species. They've had a catastrophic system failure near the Weber colony. 8 million colonists are at risk if the ship's antimatter containment fails." Tom's blood ran cold. The Galaxy Peace was one of the most advanced ships ever built, combining technology from multiple species. Distance to nearest repair ship. 3 vessels are closer than us. A crystalline repair ship, a Hive engineer vessel, and a Machine Federation technical unit. But the controller paused. "They're specifically requesting human assistance. They say only we can handle multiple system failures at once." Tom grabbed the comm. "Get Jack and Rose up here now. Full emergency team." Rose Cooper was their best crisis engineer. She had started as a farmer fixing tractors, then worked her way up to spacecraft. If anyone could handle this, she could. Within 10 minutes, the emergency team gathered in the briefing room. The situation display showed the Galaxy Peace's status. Main power failing. Backup systems critical. Life support running on emergency power. "The problem," Jack explained, pointing to the display, "is that every system was built by a different species. When one failed, it created a cascade effect. No single species knows how to fix it all." Rose studied the readouts, her experienced eyes catching details others missed. "It's like 12 different languages all shouting at once," she said. "But they're all just machines in the end. Jack, remember that universal adapter we built for the trading post-crisis?" Jack's eyes lit up. "The one that lets different species tech talk to each other. But we'd need to modify it for each system." "Then we better work fast," Tom said. "We have 4 hours before total containment failure. Our rescue ship can be there in 3. The next hour was a blur of activity. Rose led the team in modifying their universal adapter design, while Jack prepared emergency repair kits for every type of technology they might encounter. Tom coordinated with the colony's evacuation ships, hoping they wouldn't be needed. 2 hours later, their rescue ship, the Quick Fix, approached the massive diplomatic vessel. The Galaxy Peace was a beautiful ship, or had been. Now it listed in space, its lights flickering, its hull showing signs of stress. Reading multiple system failures, Rose reported from the Quick Fix's engineering station. "Crystalline quantum matrix is overloading. Hive biological systems are in shock. Machine Federation I is in emergency shutdown. It's a mess." They docked with barely a bump. Rose led the repair team aboard, carrying tools both ancient and modern. The ship's interior was chaos. Different species of crew members rushing around, emergency lights flashing, warning signals in 12 different languages blaring. "First step," Rose announced to her team, "is to get these systems talking to each other again. Basic stuff first. Power, life support, containment. Like fixing a farm's irrigation system. Get the water flowing first, then worry about the fancy sensors." The team split up, each taking a critical system. Rose moved between them, her decades of fixing everything from tractors to starships guiding her decisions. Here, a simple mechanical bypass restored power flow. There, a quantum patch stabilized containment. Everywhere, human ingenuity combined with alien technology. Mom, one of her engineers called. The hive systems won't interface with the crystalline power grid. Rose hurried over, then smiled. They're both just trying to move energy from point A to point B. Here, she pulled out an old power converter from her kit. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways. 3 hours and 47 minutes after the initial alert, Rose sent the message everyone had been waiting for. Containment stabilized. All critical systems restored. We did it. The cheer that went up could be heard through the entire ship, in 12 different species' voices. Rose Cooper wiped sweat from her forehead as she studied the Galaxy Pieces engine room. The critical systems were stable now, but they weren't out of danger yet. 12 different alien technologies surrounded her, each one damaged, each one vital to the ship's survival. Status report. Tom's voice came through her comm unit. Good news and bad news, Rose replied, watching her repair team work. Good news is we stopped the ship from exploding. Bad news is these temporary fixes won't hold forever. We need to make permanent repairs, and we need to do it fast. Jack appeared beside her, his toolkit open. The crystalline power core is fighting with the hive biological systems again. Every time we balance one, the other goes haywire. Rose nodded, her mind already working on solutions. She'd seen something like this before years ago, when she was still fixing farm equipment. It's like trying to connect old Earth diesel engines to new solar panels, she muttered. Different technologies that were never meant to work together. Then it hit her. She grabbed her tablet and started sketching rapidly. What are you thinking? Jack asked, recognizing the look in her eyes. Back on my family's farm, we had this problem with different irrigation systems fighting each other. Old pipes, new sensors, different water pressures. The solution wasn't to make them the same. It was to give each system what it needed. She showed him her sketch. Look, we're not going to make these alien systems play nice. Instead, we're going to build them each their own playground. The repair team gathered around as Rose explained her plan. They would create what she called interface zones, spaces between each alien system where human-designed adapters would translate one technology's output into something the next system could understand. Like universal translators, but for machines, one of the younger engineers said, catching on. Exactly, Rose smiled. The crystalline quantum core doesn't need to understand the hive biological systems. It just needs to talk to our interface, and our interface will do the translation. They worked through the ship's artificial night cycle, building and installing the interfaces. Rose's farm experience proved invaluable. She understood that complex systems, whether crops or starships, needed balance more than perfection. Mom, called one of her team. The Machine Federation AI is resisting the interface installation, says it goes against its base protocols. Rose walked over to the AI's central processing unit. Its displays showed error messages in multiple languages. Hello, she said to the AI. I'm Rose. I understand you're worried about these changes. Affirmative, the AI responded. Unknown technology presents unacceptable risks. Let me tell you about Earth cattle, Rose said, surprising everyone. They get nervous around new things too. The solution isn't to force them. It's to show them the new thing is safe. She pulled up the interface's code on a display. Look, you can read every line. You can monitor every connection. We're not changing you. We're giving you new ways to communicate. The AI's lights flickered as it processed this. Your analogy is unexpected, but logical, proceeding with interface installation. Hours passed as they worked. Each alien system presented unique challenges, but Rose's team met each one with human ingenuity. They used parts from a dozen different species, combined them in ways nobody had ever tried before, and somehow made it all work. Finally, Rose stood in the engine room, watching power flow smoothly through all systems. The interfaces glowed with steady lights, each one translating perfectly between alien technologies. What had been chaos was now harmony. All systems report optimal function. The Machine Federation I announced. This solution is elegant in its simplicity. Tom's voice came through the comm again. The Diplomatic Council wants to speak with you, Rose. They're calling this a breakthrough in multi-species engineering. Rose looked around at her tired but proud team. Tell them it wasn't just me. This is what humans do. We see the connections others miss. We make things work together, even when they're not supposed to. And as if to prove her point, the Galaxy Peace's engines hummed with perfect harmony, 12 different technologies working together for the first time in galactic history. 6 months after the Galaxy Peace incident, Tom Walker stood in front of the newly built Galactic Engineering Academy on Earth. The massive complex stretched across what used to be the Australian outback, its architecture combining styles from every known spacefaring species. Hard to believe this all started with a broken crystalline ship, Jack said, standing beside him. Tom smiled. And now look at us. Earth is becoming the engineering capital of the galaxy. They watched as students from 24 different species entered the Academy's main hall. There were crystalline beings walking alongside insectoid hive members, gaseous cloud dwellers floating next to Machine Federation robots. All of them were here to learn the human approach to engineering. Inside the main lecture hall, Rose Cooper was preparing for her first class. After the Galaxy Peace success, she had been chosen as the Academy's lead instructor. Her practical experience, from farm equipment to starships, made her the perfect teacher for this unique school. Welcome to Universal Mechanics 101, Rose began, looking at the diverse group before her. First thing you need to know, there's no such thing as primitive technology. There's only technology that works and technology that doesn't. She pulled out her old wrench and placed it next to a quantum scanner on her desk. These are both tools. One isn't better than the other. They're just different solutions to different problems, understanding when to use each one. That's what makes a universal mechanic. In orbit above Earth, Deep Space Repair Station Delta had been joined by dozens of new human repair stations. They formed a ring around the planet, each specializing in different types of repairs, but all following the human philosophy of universal mechanics. Tom's comm unit buzzed. It was a message from the Crystalline Empire. Request permission to establish permanent human repair facility in Imperial space. Will provide resources and full autonomy. Your expertise is essential to our future. Another one, Jack commented, reading over Tom's shoulder. That's what, the 5th species to request their own human repair station this month. 6th, Tom corrected. The Cloud Dwellers sent their request yesterday. Seems everyone wants human engineers these days. In the Academy's practical workshop, Rose was demonstrating how to combine different technologies. Her students watched in amazement as she connected a hive biological circuit to a crystalline power cord using modified Earth electronics. See, she said as the hybrid system hummed to life. It's not about making everything the same. It's about understanding how different things can work together. That's humanity's real gift to the galaxy. We don't just fix machines, we help them understand each other. The Machine Federation I that had been on the Galaxy Peace had requested to join the Academy as both a student and teaching assistant. It now spoke up from its interface panel. Human engineering principles have caused me to rewrite 47% of my basic assumptions about technology. This is unprecedented in my experience. Rose grinned. Good. Learning means changing. Speaking of which, she pulled out her tablet and showed the class her latest project, a design for a new type of ship that would combine technology from all known species. This is what we're building toward, a future where different technologies don't just coexist, they work together to create something better than any one species could build alone. As the day ended, Tom stood at his favorite observation window on Station Delta. Below, Earth glowed blue and green, while above, ships from across the galaxy moved in and out of the repair docks. Each one carried stories of human ingenuity back to their homeworlds. Jack joined him, holding 2 cups of coffee. "Remember when we thought fixing that first crystalline ship was a big deal?" "It was a big deal," Tom said, taking one of the cups. "It was the day the galaxy learned what humans do best. We fix things, we improve things, and we bring things together." "To the universal mechanics," Jack raised his cup. "To the future," Tom replied, watching as another ship approached the station, knowing that with each repair, with each solution, humanity was helping to build a more connected galaxy, one fixed machine at a time.